Alright, this story is called Feral Izuku by EveryShadeOfHappy on an archive of our own. Summary. Jiro likes to think she has some self-preservation, so when she realizes how terrifying her classmate Midoriya Izuku is, she knows better than to approach him. Well, at least until she's forced to. Jiro liked to believe she had a little self-preservation, even if she was on the path to becoming a hero. So when she arrived for her first day at the #1 hero school and heard something, or rather someone, scampering through the vents, she ignored it. Instead, she observes the chaos slowly entering the room. Her new classmates for the next 3 years seem overly energetic at the very least. The worst is the pair in the corner, fighting about inspecting the furniture in the room. The main instigator seems agitated, and explosions pop off of his bombs seemingly for show. They are loud enough that it makes her wince. When the bell rings, nobody stops and continues to chat amongst themselves. The familiar swish of a door opening has her glancing over. Immediately, she has to muffle a scream threatening to break out. Lying on the floor is a yellow monstrosity. She watches in fear as it slowly rolls in. It's not until the yellow thing unzips that she realizes it is a man. A man with the deepest eye bags she has ever seen, and a scowl twisting his lips, but a man nonetheless, even if he looks homeless. 3 of your classmates noticed I entered. The rest of you are risking expulsion. Everyone's heads whip around, and the pandemonium breaks out. Denki, the only idiot she knows here, accidentally sets off his quirk and fries his brain. Shut up. The hobo's eyes flare red, and his hair raises to whip around his face. The act obviously strikes terror in the hearts of everyone. As they quickly sit down and become quiet with all the noise now gone, she can now hear a faint breathing coming from the vents. Jiro can't help but shift uncomfortably. She understands it's the top hero school, but things are just getting a little too creepy. The man she can comfortably assume is her teacher begins to speak. If any of you Hellspawn have not figured it out, I am Aizawa Shoda, and I will be your teacher for the next 3 years. You have 8 minutes to get dressed and make it to the gym gamma. If any of you are late, you'll be doing my hell course. Got it? With a terrifying grin, he throws gym uniforms at all of them and shuffles to the door. And Izuku, get out of the goddamn vents, you brat. With that terrifying last statement, Aizawa-sensei takes his leave. A boy who looks a little like a robot begins to direct everyone to the door when he's interrupted by the vent grate sliding open. With a little slither, a green-haired boy slides out of the vents and behind the explosive boy. Jiro watches with a shudder. He's tiny, with viridian eyes that seem to stare into her soul. She can see scars around his mouth, as if it was sewn up once. But the thing that really makes Jiro pause is the explosive boy's reaction. It hadn't even been a day, but she can tell the red-eyed boy has a million issues, from anger to a superiority complex. And yet, he has gone still, and the color has drained out of his face. If the green-haired boy can draw a reaction like that out of the blonde, he must be terrifying. Hello, Kachan. The emerald-eyed gremlin has gotten a knife from somewhere and is flipping it between his fingers at an insane speed. It's been a while, hasn't it? With those ominous words, he pulls on an Aizawa-sensei and walks out the door. Jiro can't help but notice how he's completely silent as he walks. It's unnerving. Jiro manages to change and get to the gym gamma before the 8-minute mark, but Mina and Denki don't. Currently, she's watching them run their 4th lap. Alright, Hellspawn, we're doing a skill test just so I know the baseline I'm working with. It will be a series of 8 tests. What about orientation? A rosy-cheeked girl shouts. If you want to become heroes, you don't have time for illogical activities like friendship or orientations. The first test will be a ball throw. Mina, who had finally finished her laps and heard the last bit, cheers. This will be so much fun. Aizawa-sensei's eyes flare red. If you all think this will be fun, how about this? Whoever comes in last will be expelled. He grins, a feral thing that is much too wide, and calls Mina up. As the tests progress, Jiro watches the green-haired boy, Izuku. He's completely silent the entire time and never shows a sign of a quirk. Yet, he does better than almost everyone at the tests. Maybe it's a minor enhancement quirk? Even so, some of the ways he completes the tests are ridiculous. For instance, at the ball test, he simply looks Aizawa-sensei in the eyes and puts a knife through the ball. They grin at each other before Aizawa-sensei gives him an infinite score, just like Uraraka. At the end of the test, everyone is panting, and the leaderboard Aizawa pulls up shows Izuku at the top. Bakugo, the explosive boy, has been strangely quiet, even though he came in 6th. Jiro, Hagakure, Ojiro, Mineta. None of you showed any initiative in finding new ways to use your quirks. Even so, most of you have potential, so I won't expel you today. At that, the people he had called out relaxed, including her. Except you, Mineta. You're expelled. Grab your bag and go home before I file a police report on you. If you think I didn't notice you trying to look up Yaoyorozu's skirt, you are dead wrong. We take sexual harassment very seriously at UA. If you ever want to be a hero, you need to become a better person. Mineta bursts into tears, but does not argue. He walks away sullenly, and Jiro can't help but be relieved. So is Yaoyorozu, who visibly relaxes. Finally, the day ends, and Jiro is relieved. Her new class is intense, and it's only the first day. Before they leave, Aizawa-sensei leaves them with a parting statement. Being a hero is hard and terrifying work. You will watch people die. You will watch your loved ones die. You will not save everyone, and you will fail, because you are human. You will make mistakes you regret for the rest of your life. This is not a job you can take lightly. If I feel that you will not make it past your first 5 years of hero work, I will not hesitate to expel you. I will not send you to your deaths. I refuse to. So I suggest you take tonight to think about why you want to be a hero, to think about your resolve, to think if this is really the road you want to take, because heroics is not for the weak. When he turns to leave, Izuku follows. That was strangely intense. Denki jokes. With the tension broken, everyone begins to disappear. After a night of self-doubt, Jiro shows up to school the next day. Once again, Bakugo is strangely quiet and tense as he skirts around Izuku, and it's not until heroics that Jiro truly understands. Aizawa-sensei brings him back to Gym Gamma for a tournament rounds of duels. You will stay in the ring until you are defeated. We go until we have a winner. Quirks are allowed. Aoyama is called up first. Any volunteers? When no one speaks up, Aizawa-sensei sends in Ida, the robotic boy from yesterday. Start. At the call, Aoyama tries to fire off his naval laser only to be punted by Jiro. At the start. At the call, Aoyama tries to fire off his naval laser only to be punted by Ida. Jiro muffles a low. Jiro muffles a laugh at how quickly it ended. Can anyone tell me what Aoyama did wrong? Aizawa-sensei asks. Yaoyorozu eventually answers. Aoyama relied too much on his quirk, even though he was going up against a speed quirk. Aizawa-sensei nods. Exactly. I doubt Aoyama has any hand-to-hand combat, which is a failure on his part. He was at a clear disadvantage. I hope you all picked up on. Not only can he not control his quirk without a support item, he also takes about 3 seconds to fire up his quirk. That is an advantage for his opponent. Everyone slowly nods. They definitely had not picked up on it. Bakugo, you're up. Finally, Bakugo perks up and heads in before Aizawa-sensei can even call start. Bakugo is leaping forward with a shout. Die! This fight lasts a little longer, Ida able to evade Bakugo's explosions, but eventually a well-timed hit blasts Ida out of bounds. What did they do wrong this time? This time, it's surprisingly Izuku who answers. Ida was fending off Kacchan the whole time. He should have used the numerous chances he was given to strike back, and Kacchan thinks all he needs is raw power. He needs to think for once. At Aizawa's nod, Ida heads back. Bakugo doesn't seem too put out by the critiques. So which of you fucking extras are going to die by my hand now, huh? Bakugo crows, explosions popping off his palms. Izuku steps forward, and Bakugo tenses. Let's see if you've gotten any better than the last time we fought Kacchan. Izuku croons. Once Izuku is in the ring, Aizawa yells for them to start, and Izuku becomes a blur. Before Bakugo can even move, Izuku has swept him off his feet and swung a kick into his throat, smashing him into the ground. Bakugo is wheezing, little explosions popping out of his hands. Izuku waits for him to get up, only for him to once again aim a powerful kick at his chest. Jiro can hear the cracking ring out and knows Izuku just broke at least 3 of Bakugo's ribs. He flies out of the ring and lies off to the side unconscious. Jiro, you're next. Jiro becomes more and more terrified as the fights go on, and nobody can defeat Izuku, no matter what they do. Aizawa has plenty of critiques for everyone except Izuku. Find a more creative way to use your quirk. Don't be so slow. Watch your opponent. Did you think it would be an easy win? Jiro watches as Izuku knocks almost all of her classmates unconscious, despite their best efforts. Mina tries to trap him in acid. Yaoyorozu makes a bazooka for God's sake. No matter what, all the fights last less than a minute. Even when Todoroki steps forward, Izuku simply dodges and flips over the ice Todoroki sent his way, before slashing at him with a knife until he backs out of the ring. Hagakure doesn't even try to fight him and just runs out of the ring screaming. Finally, it's her turn. She slowly steps forward. Take it easy on me, okay? He does not. Instead, he uses her own earjacks to choke her into unconsciousness. When she wakes up, she's in Recovery Girl's office with most of the class. Denki, who had been knocked out with a kick to the head, is freaking out to the rest of the class. That guy was terrifying. He took all of us out in less than a minute, and I don't even know what his quirk is. How was he allowed into the hero course? He doesn't have a quirk. At Aizawa-sensei's words, everyone whips around. What? How does he not have a quirk? Are you sure? Before anyone else can shout a question, Aizawa-sensei activates his quirk. Shut up, Hellspawn. No, Izuku does not have a quirk, and yet he took all of you out. What does that say about you? Yaoyorozu, who had taken the brunt of her own bazooka, speaks up. Sir, how is Izuku so capable at such a young age? Aizawa snorts. Luckily for you brats, Izuku doesn't mind me sharing his story. He was kidnapped when he was 7 and forced into a training regimen that either he succeeded at or he died. Most of the other kids who were kidnapped died even though they have a quirk. he was rescued, and even after the horror he has seen, wants to be a hero, which is lucky for all of us. If he chose to be a villain, the world would have ended a long time ago. With that, Aizawa-sensei leaves, and Jiro can't help how the words slip out. I'm terrified of Izuku, and I never want to be on the receiving end of his hands again. Murmurs of agreement spread out across the room. Izuku was a rather terrifying individual, and perhaps a little feral. And that is the end of Feral Izuku by Every Shade of Happy on Archive of Our Own.